Hey girl. Hey guys, my name is Simply Velka, and I am currently recording in my newest spot that I created during quarantine, which hopefully it turned out looking decent. I kind of had to just give up on it. I'm not a very artsy and crafts person, so hopefully it looks cute. If y'all have any criticisms, please don't tell me, because I'm not changing it. So I want to just kind of jump into this video and kind of explain the title, right? So if you've watched any of my videos, one of the big things that I like to talk about is that I don't really like to judge other people's spirituality or their belief systems or really tell people what to do, because I personally believe that a spiritual journey is a very personal one, and what works for one person does not necessarily mean it's going to work for another person. That's why I'm not a huge fan on just following something by the book entirely, because you're just following whoever wrote the book's own spiritual personal path. Like, you're not experiencing your own spirituality in its fullest. I believe that spirituality, there's like a little bit of truth to every belief system. I thoroughly don't believe that there's one true be-all right belief system, because if there was, then there'd be some substantial physical proof that you could just consistently create, which until this time you can't. As much as people want to promise that they can do manifest these wonderful things on whim, there's just, if that was possible, then spirituality wouldn't be what it is. Right? There's a level of faith that you have to have in spirituality, but that's a completely different subject. Really, how I really want to talk about with this is that I kind of want to compare spirituality to cilantro. So in essence, because I view spirituality in this way, I like to kind of compare it to cilantro, because there's no spiritual path that's necessarily wrong. If someone believes in aliens and that aliens abduct people every single day and that they were abducted by aliens, I genuinely believe that person that is saying that genuinely believes that happened, that they have experiences that they can reference for there to be a valid reason for that. I like to think that for everybody. I think it's kind of ridiculous to assume that you are the only one that could have these real experiences, and to anybody else that's it's not possible. That's so self-centered, right? I feel like it's just quite frankly just rude to assume that someone's crazy, rather than giving them the benefit of the doubt that there's something that could actually have happened to give them that reasoning to believe that. I feel like it's the least that a person can do is give someone the benefit of the doubt. And so because of this, because you can't prove spirituality just on whim, this person who believes in aliens and being abducted, clearly they can't just be hey, let me prove it right now, just abduct me now. You can't do that. But you can't do that with anything. So it's I can't discredit this person who believes in aliens and aliens abducting people any better or any quicker than I can with my belief system when it comes to talking with the archangels, talking with the demons, talking with Jesus. I can't prove this. I can't prove that I talk to my spirit guides, that I talk to my ancestors. I can't prove that I astral project on whim, if someone wants me to prove it in that moment. I can't promise you that I can just get those results instantly in the way that you want it, because that's just not how spirituality works, I guess. Or maybe I just haven't cracked the code personally. So because of this, it's kind of like cilantro. Some people, to really just break this down finally, some people, they love cilantro. They'll put it on anything. And then other people, they hate it because it tastes like soap to them. Who are you? If you're the person that loves cilantro, you put it in your salsa, your favorite salsa, and that's you swear that's the secret ingredient to make your salsa be the greatest salsa ever. Who are you to tell that person, this next person who believes cilantro tastes like soap to them, because as they eat it, it just tastes soapy to them? Who are you to say that they're not tasting soap? You realize how ridiculous it is? You would rather tell this person that they're just crazy and they're just making it up just to sabotage your salsa recipe, or whatever the reason is. That's more believable to you than just giving them the benefit of the doubt and be oh, maybe there's just something going on with the taste buds that cilantro tastes like soap. Think about it in that way. Or even still, if someone else likes cilantro as well, but they're not a fan of it in their salsa. They like to put it in their rice. Does that mean that that person that puts it in their rice instead of, and they don't like cilantro in their salsa, does that make this person any more wrong than you for a human being? As a human being, you know, allowing people to practice using cilantro in whatever way, to criticize someone for using cilantro in their personal way, or to choose to not even ingest cilantro, it's kind of silly. So why do it for your spiritual path either? Why are we going to sit here and pretend that any spiritual path, any spiritual practice is any higher on the pedestal than any other one? When, end of the day, you know, cilantro is still going to taste like soap to me, while cilantro for you is going to be what that secret ingredient that makes your salsa. To you, to your experience, I'm sure that salsa tastes amazing. But to me, that salsa tastes pretty freaking soapy and I don't want it. You know, like, stop offering it to me. And so, while I know to some people this may be something hard to like really process or to agree with, because even initially for me, I always like to approach, because astral projecting is such a big part of my spirituality, because my belief system's based off of things like experiences that I have during astral projecting, things that I can like, that I'm experiencing like in the physical. It's nothing that I'm just like believing into. I'm not just believing in something that I can't reference a specific experience to, basically. And so because of this, I would talk about certain experiences or talk about certain details, and then someone would try to correct me, or someone would have a different view entirely that would go against it. And while I never felt personally attacked by it, I was just like, girl, what is your reference? You know, what are we basing this off of? Because to me, my belief system is based off of these like very real things that are happening to me in my face. I have to, one, accept that that's not how everyone approaches spirituality. That doesn't make any other practice or approach bad, right? Just because it's not the way that I do it. And two, you know, I had to like kind of face my ego and be like, okay, while I may not agree with them, not only am I not agreeing with them on their practices, it's in like potentially going completely opposite of like what I have experienced. They're basing this off of something that, you know, just off of mentally, that, you know, there's always like, could have like a projection, your own personal projection in there. That's why I always like to base my spirituality off of like stuff of astral projecting, because if you're just sitting there meditating, you know, at any time, like you could have your own mental projections, and it's your job, you know, as you progress through your spirituality, you get better at filtering where your mental projections are, but it's still a very real possibility. And so I had to face all these things and kind of like really process and sit with myself and be like, you know, I'm sure this person is not just disagreeing with me just to disagree with me, you know, that's so self-centered to think that. So there had to be a reason for it. And while I may not agree with their reasoning as to like why they believe in what they do and like their process to it, you know, to me, I see flaws, but to them, it makes sense to them. Who am I to say that it doesn't make sense? Because if it's adding up to them, like, what, you know, what is it really hurting? What is it affecting in my spirituality if, really at the end of the day, if their practices are fulfilling them, if their usage or lack of usage of cilantro is fulfilling them, and they can go to sleep at the end of the day and feel fulfilled, and I can go to sleep at the end of the day feeling fulfilled with my salsa recipe with cilantro, who's really losing in this? Does it really matter? You know, I can still enjoy my salsa with cilantro in it, and I don't have to worry about sharing it with this other person because it tastes soapy to them. And I guess that's really how I want, it's kind of empowering, really, in a lot of ways, when you take this approach, because then it's freeing in a sense that you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to be a certain way. You don't have to explain yourself anymore. You can just allow yourself to experience your spirituality in its fullest and share what you want to. You don't have to worry about explaining yourself. You don't have to worry about proving yourself. You don't have to worry about going against somebody, because you are able to experience your own reality with spirituality, but also respect someone else's reality with spirituality as well, and be able to not even agree to disagree, but be able to just acknowledge that they're translating energy in a completely different way. You know, is no better or worse than how you're translating energy. It's like it's just a different perspective. That's all spirituality is, at least in my opinion, is we're all viewing this other world, these otherworldly beings, all from different perspectives, and there's no true perspective. But yeah, I guess that's all I really wanted to say in this video and share this kind of view on spirituality, and hopefully it makes sense to some people. Maybe it'll resonate with some people and be like that aha moment. That's really what I hope for this video, that if I were to invest an intention to this video, is to hopefully at least just give one person their aha moment, to allow themselves and empower themselves to just realize that they don't have anything to prove, anything to hide, anything to defend with their spirituality, that they can just freely practice what makes sense to them and not feel like they're doing something wrong, because no one's doing anything wrong. The only time you're doing something wrong is if you're trying to follow someone else's footsteps, you know? So yeah, that's all I wanted to say in this video. If this message did resonate with you, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you did, maybe check out my other videos as well, because I always like to, I don't always consistently do videos, but I'm trying to get better at it and trying to come out of my introverted shell again. And now that I have like this new cute setup, I'm gonna try to be recording a lot more often. But yeah, I love you guys so much, and until next time, bye guys.